So let's talk about the perception of fragmentation in the market. Do you really see a burgeoning market for AI at the edge, especially compared to cloud-based solutions?
Depends on if you're thinking about pure applications running on software, or you're relating the application to something real world locally. So camera-based systems, imaging-based systems where Axelera may be concentrating, those are at the edge predominantly. Data will eventually get shipped back to the data center, but a lot of the work will take place at the edge. A lot of the immediate reactions and responses to a camera-based system, whether it's in a security environment or in a retail environment, a lot of that is going on locally and dealing real time with what's going on. So this proliferation of systems at the edge is really important. And what I've seen is companies move more and more to the edge because they realize that their systems are more efficient, more interactive, and they're able to do much faster transactions and interactions using secure edge computing. And the AI aspect is it really speeding that up. Data does go back to the data centers. A lot of work takes place, and you can do a lot of consolidation of information and build the models further and move the machine learning aspects back to the edge. But then there's real AI work taking place in both situations. So I think there's a right place for a cloud-based solution. There's many more applications possible at the edge. And I think that's where a lot of companies, when they focus correctly, are going to see growth in their business.
Let's talk about industries and about different sectors. So which ones do you anticipate will be the most disrupted by AI technologies?
I think what we're starting to see as well is that the imaging space, you can go in several directions. The imaging space is really exciting. It's also a little bit scary at times as well, because you see online that we have the concerns around deep fake imaging, and that needs to be resolved, and that's by design. So companies will be able to help industries and governments with that as a solution, and it's linked in with identification and how to recognize that. The imaging also, when you're looking at it in a commercial environment, but also in identification situations for border crossings, etc. I've just started using in Schiphol here in the Netherlands, where you check in now and they use facial recognition alongside your passport, and actually you're walking all the way to the plane now without using another passport check to get on board the plane. Same happened in America. So that's a real positive thing. A consumer experience is significantly improved because of the AI possibilities with it. In the medical space, the imaging and capture, particularly in the cancer area, if those data centers are capturing a lot of those images in an anonymous fashion to protect patient privacy, you're collecting all that information. Doctors are going to have access to millions of images that will guide them towards that decision. Is this a cancerous tumor, yes or no? And it will really speed up. And I've attended conferences recently where doctors said this is the one space that they're hoping to make the most advances in the near future, because it's going to make their job so much easier and help patients so much faster. That was one of the things that excited me about that space.
You can really make the world a better place, right? I mean, applying it correctly to the correct sectors, it can, help just unnecessary tasks, right? Repetitive tasks. It can all be, automated, and then just all by using, the proper models, the proper AI in there. There's just a lot to be done there. And it's really exciting. So, as AI intertwines with daily life, I mean, what kind of applications do you believe will become really ubiquitous?
That's another great question. So I keep coming back to the medical space. What we will see is that the use of AI will expand beyond clinical environments only, out to patients at home, and using data and imaging and recognition and security. So be able to interact with hospitals, with technicians, with doctors, much easier, and to be able to get to diagnostic situations. It's difficult for some patients to make it to the hospital, but also within the hospital environment. So that's going to be changing how we interact within the medical space. I think also in the travel industry and with transportation, mobility, we're going to see many changes as well about image recognition, identification of who you are, rights to access to a service will be dealt with by imaging. I think we're going to see things changing in the payment space. We've gone from using cards to tap and pay. We're using our mobile phone for payment. In some areas now, payment is taking place based on biometrics, whether it's fingerprint, but also imaging, and it's moving much faster. And as we get more comfortable with the fact that the image is genuine, we'll be able to make some steps in there. So payment identification, border crossings is going to see us. So that's going to make a difference in our lives. We're already seeing trials taking place in supermarkets, particularly in the US, but Google and Amazon using shops where you register your biometrics, your image, and you just pick things up and go and walk out. Payment takes place because it's all recognized. So things like that are a little bit strange, but they're happening, and we're getting used to it more and more.
Yeah. And as we look towards a future, with intertwined with AI, are there any closing thoughts on how Axelera AI and similar ventures can really drive meaningful impact in this landscape?
Yeah, I think we touched on a little bit earlier about ecosystems and the burgeoning growth of different applications and different use cases at the edge. I think that as Axelera grows and it's focused in the imaging space, but working within ecosystems to utilize the ecosystem to the full, where companies may be doing different things in robotics and the imaging related to that, and just expanding more the focus area of Axelera to work with other companies alongside them in those spaces is going to mean the opportunity for Axelera really expands way beyond what the focus may be today, and we don't know where that will take us. So it can be industrial, it can be medical, it can be commercial environments, security, etc. So, but then you take it into different types of applications because the two are linked, and that ecosystem will take you there. One thing I've learned over the last 15 years or so, working within ecosystems grows your business 3 or 4 times faster than it does when you're trying to create a new market on your own. And I think Axelera recognizes this, and it is heading in that direction rapidly.
It's exciting times ahead, Steve.
Yes, I'm surprised at the pace at which it's picking up now, but we shouldn't really be, because there's always a slow startup to a market taking off, and then it extrapolates. And that, I think we're in that phase now. AI is a buzzword for many people. I think once we get into the real use cases and how we take advantage of it, it's going to be a super growth market over the next years. If you look at companies that are growing and their stock market situation, if you see those companies, it's everybody's excited and paying attention to those companies. And I think that's where most investments are going to come to in the short, medium term, which is fantastic.
It absolutely is. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.